Hey everybody, it's Jeff, and today we're going to show you some tips and tricks of getting your clean out tray sealed and keep it from leaking and water into your bilge compartment. So here we go. Alright guys, I'm going to go over just what I did to kind of modify my tray. It's not really a modification. What happened was from the factory, you can see where I have these sealed right now. These are the old holes. What had happened was when they drilled this in the factory, they got the edge of this ledge that was right here. And so I just pretty much filled those holes up and drilled a new hole and just reused the screws. I'm going to show you today just kind of how easy it is to remove this tray, what's all involved, and go from there. So here we go. Okay, so now I've got all my screws removed except for this one. We'll go ahead and pull this last screw out. So we got all the screws removed. Now the next step is we got to open up our access hatches. What we're going to have to do is we're going to have to disconnect. We're going to have to loosen the hose clamp that is on here for this tube here inside that clean out, and for this one here, and then also there's a drain right here. What I usually get on these hose clamps, they're an 8mm or they're a flathead. Don't use a flathead. Just get an 8mm nut driver like this. This will work perfect. Gives you a good clamp, gives you a good contact with the hose clamp to get it off. Because you don't want to drop it. If you drop it, you can get it out. It's just a pain in the butt. So I'm going to remove these clamps, pull the lid off, and show you what everything looks like real clear. Okay, the hose clamps are loosened from here. From here, this hose has been pulled off. Clamps right there. Tray just lifts up and out. And I'll show you what we're working with here. So, those hose clamps are clamped around this for your clean out tubes. There's a hose that fits onto there. And now you can see what we're talking about here. So there's that hose clamp that I was loosening right there for that port clean out. That's for the starboard clean out. And this is the drain hose, so when water gets in here, it drains into this hose right there. And then it drains out right there underneath the right jet. When I first got this boat, I can tell you that a lot of these clamps are just loosened up. These were all loose. There are clamps on the bottom. Those are loose. You're gonna see some extra wires and stuff. That's because I have some lights. But other than that, that is it for getting these things, for getting that clean out tray removed. One other thing now you can see, I'm gonna put these back in here. So you can see my clean out tray screws. This is where the factory drilled them. And as you can see, they just got the edge of it. So these screws were super loose. So like I said, I went ahead and drilled new ones inward on my tray. And that's what happened. Didn't happen to all of them, but it happened to some of them. And so I was able to, again, just drill new holes, and that helped fasten that clean out tray down really well. What I did on the tray too as well is I took the old, let's flip this around. So the old holes, I just put 4200 3M adhesive. That's 3M 4200, not 5200. And then I just drilled new holes next to it. You know, it doesn't have to be, it's not like it's some critical engine part, it's just a plastic cover. And so that's it. Alrighty, so when you're putting this, when you're putting your clean out tray back in, obviously the first thing you have to do is set it in here and get everything lined up as far as getting these inside the rubber boots. It's kind of hard to see, but when you tighten the clamps that I showed you that are in here, what I do is I push down on this pretty good, and I do that on both and tighten them up. And that just helps keeps this pushed down well and then you can put your screws in. Yamaha recommends putting a bead of silicone around this edge for water, but I don't. I feel like if the deck fastens with this many screws, it's a non-issue. It's a non-issue completely. So that's it.